Action Comics 991. Dan Jurgens writing, Victor Bogdanovich on art. This is the final part of the Oz Effect. And I think this is a really weird one to kind of like place now that it's over, in sense of I think expectations for what this could have been kind of damping on what you maybe feel about it as a whole, because
I don't know about that. I think I like it more after the fact.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think I like the story as a whole more after the fact as well, now that I know what it ended as. But at the same time, it never was anything that I think any of us were remotely expecting.
No.
I think instead of being this earth-shattering story with all the possibilities of who Mr. Oz was before this, I think ultimately it ended up just being a pretty decent Superman story. But not like a super important one. Not one that you're going to say to people in years from now, you have to go back and read the Oz Effect. The Oz Effect is a prominent story.
I'll agree with that.
I think if I was going to criticise it, I would say it's maybe an issue too long.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's
Definitely.
really notable compared to Lonely Place of Living, which felt really tight, and that was an issue or two less.
Yeah.
It was an issue less. Yeah, because all the stuff that's set up with Oz and him trying to make the world turn, to make Cal turn, I felt like they wasted a lot of time for that for kind of no payoff. For him just to destroy the staff and, now it's settled.
Which I thought I thought that was really easy as well, by the way. It was just the staff that was doing it.
Yeah, which I thought was, in some ways, was interesting. It's like, okay, so, it was never about Oz, really. It was, he was just a pawn after all.
Well, yeah, because, obviously, I think the most exciting stuff in terms of plot is the fact that he's clearly talking about Manhattan towards, or at least that's what we think he's talking about at the end of the issue, where he's like, yeah, he saved me, and I want to get you out of harm's way because he's this dangerous. But you also find out the staff is manipulating him and making him, the darker version of Jor-El that he is, which implies that he is actually Jor-El. So you've got
also
that
what
going.
Oz tells Cal is, I didn't make anybody do this. I presented them with a choice, and this is what they chose to do. And I feel that's along the same lines of Oz himself.
freaking Jigsaw.
No, I guess. I've only seen 3 of those movies, so
it's 3 too many.
Yeah,
I've seen 8 of them. I've seen 8 of the bloody things.
Yeah, but I feel that was the same with him. Is it wasn't necessarily the staff, but it kind of created this feedback loop where he was getting what he wanted. Well,
hold on a minute. As soon as he breaks the staff, he immediately snaps out of it. He's like, "Oh, it was defecting me. What have I done, son? I love you, son." He immediately changed.
He knew that he loved him.
Yeah, but he immediately changed his personality. How can you say the staff wasn't affecting him?
Yeah,
it's like a light switch.
Right. Well, no, I just mean when he first took up this mission as Mr. Oz. You know what I mean? It came from a good place, but it ultimately, that is what corrupted him. That's what led to him. Because
I think what it is, it's a slow corruption. Even though we see the effects of a light switch when it stops. It's like, oh, I'm free. Hang on, what am I thinking? I think over time it's built to this point of being Oz. He thought it was the best of intentions, and it's kind of wormed his way into his mind.
Do we presume that Manhattan gave him this staff?
Yeah.
I think that's the way it's presented, but I think that's too easy.
I also feel with Oz and Ozymandias and his MO from Watchmen, I feel there's more going on with Manhattan.
Yeah, why the name choice? And also the way he disappears does not look like Manhattan's vanishes.
No. Outside
instantaneous.
Yeah, outside of the blue, the very blue.
Outside of the light, but it's not usually when Manhattan teleports someone, it's just instant. They're gone. They're not there anymore. Yeah. This is like a portal opens and he goes into it. This is completely
and it swallows him.
Yeah.
So there may be more to that. Obviously, it's teasing for Doomsday Clock, which is cool. But I think a lot of it just feels a little bit like it's all this build throughout the whole arc of what he's trying to get Clark to do, and I think the message that it's sending for Clark actually works really well. I think one of my favourite pages of the entire book is that page he's on the roof at the end after Jor-El's went away, and he's just listening to the planet, and you just see all those superhearing bubbles.
That's the second best moment of the book. The best moment is the final moment. Where people, where are you going? Back to Earth. Yeah, that's Superman there.
Oh, sure, no, it absolutely is. But I think that little ending was like, you know what, I think that this would have been a really solid story with maybe an issue less, and maybe with a little bit less kind of like constant build up of who Mr. Oz is. Because I think, honestly, we had a lot of fun ideas for who Mr. Oz was, and we said that Jor-El will be fine, but it's probably the most boring one, and I still kind of feel that way.
I think this will be better once you reread it, knowing, because obviously, you know, we're talking about how it's better after the fact. We were expecting a swerve the whole time.
Yeah, we were. Identity. Yeah.
And then you're going, oh, I guess it was just Jor-El, and you know, but if you read this going in knowing that okay, it's Jor-El, maybe it plays better that way.
I think there's just something about it actually being Jor-El, and he's acting this way because he's being influenced by this staff. It just feels a little bit too easy.
It'd be more interesting if Jor-El had actually been twisted into this. I think it's one of those more cynical, more disappointing because you know Clark loses his father again in that way. You know, like, he thinks he's there, and then it's like, but he's not the person he thinks he was. He's lost this ideological hero. But instead, it's just, oh no, it's just a staff. He was corrupted. It's fine. It wasn't really him.
Yeah. So that just feels a bit easy. Like I say, I like the pages after that though. Everything at the end with him going, oh, the world's losing hope. So what are you going to do? I'm going back to work. Yeah. And he flies off. Like, you know, it's pure Superman. So it's got some great moments in there. The actual character stuff from Superman's perspective is solid. I think an issue less, and I don't know, maybe just rework some of the Aussie parts
just
of it.
Make it not such a mystery, I think, would have been better.
Yeah. Worth referencing, he does find his old lair. He sees that that's where Mixie. I'll just say Mixie. Mixie's Pitalik, whatever. He finds out his cell. He sees that Doomsday is there. All this other stuff. So he gets to see all of that, and So no, but
also,
at least I did
just went back over and read the breaking of the, and it was the personality change is huge. But it's also that it was healing him, you know. So, like it was keeping the kryptonite poisoning in check.
Yeah, he's got kryptonite in his eye, in his head.
Yeah,
because he shoots a beam of it out.
It's pretty cool when he does that. To be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's exciting though that Clark actually references this threat. He actually says, "Who is this? Who is powerful enough to do this?" You know, he actually he obviously not by name. He doesn't know who it is yet, but he is actually talking about this threat coming. Like. He believes it exists. He doesn't just think it's, you know, nothing now. Especially since, you know, Jor-El vanishes. Like, something takes him.
Yeah.
So he's aware of the threat. So it's been very nicely timed because obviously... Joe, I actually think, as I was reading this, I was like, okay, this is a pretty cool little tease. And I think the timing is impeccable because I think this is actually the first tease. Like, had we not had Doomsday Clock in, like, a couple of weeks, I think this is the point where I'd say they've been teasing this a little bit too long. But because Doomsday Clock's in a couple of weeks, I'm like, no... Perfect timing. Like, I feel like Doomsday Clock's coming at the exact time where I was going to be over the line of like, okay, they've been dragging this out too long. It's just a nice. I think the year and a half that it's spent has just been the nice amount of time.
I think for the overall story, I agree. I think it was too long for Mr. Oz on a personal level, on his identity. I think we went too long.
Yep.
Oh, I agree. No, but I'm talking about Manhattan. I'm talking about the rebirth. I'm talking about the rebirth plot and the Doomsday, the Watchmen like payoff that we've been waiting for.
I agree because it's coming so soon.
Yeah.
I almost wish that they had told the readers, us, that Jor-El was Mr. Oz, and then let Superman find out, you know, during this.
Yeah, if we had known that like months ago, but Superman didn't. Yeah, that may have been.
So they were kind of like, oh, what's he up to? Instead of like, who is this guy? Is he, you know, this super obscure character that we thought, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same problem that Superman itself fell into with the fake Clark a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Mixie was an okay choice, but like we were thinking of some crazy other things. We were Superboy Pride and all sorts.
That one didn't go on anywhere near as long, so it was a lot more forgivable.
Oh sure, yeah, it was.
With what's going on, I still feel Superman Prime, Superboy Prime has a role to play,
especially
because it's John's.
Yeah, he might be involved with Manhattan. That might be something that's going on.
Yeah, when you look and see who's used him more than anybody, it is John's.